Hey, we are going live. Just to let everyone know, tonight we're talking about
Space.
Wait, do it again.
tonight we were talking about
Space.
I hated that a whole bunch.
Okay, so we are live. Welcome everyone back to another episode of the 3-episode podcast. Tonight we're doing episode 2 of our outer space trio. Last week we talked about some celestial wonders, and Val went off on her nerdum about like some awesome things in space, and we learned a little bit and saw some really pretty things. Tonight we're going to be talking about maybe a more morbid subject. What happens after Earth dies? What happens after we destroyed this wonderful thing that we live on? Where do we go from there? So we're going to be talking about other Earths and space colonies and all that kind of fun stuff. So as usual, I am your host, Justin. Joining us is my brother, Ryan.
Hello.
We have Val.
Hi, everybody.
We have Steve.
Morning.
John is
I was
joining
not
us
expecting
to
to go next. I thought I was going to be able to drink my mule first.
Oh, sorry, John. We'll do what you're drinking.
I just said what it is. Skip it. Delicious.
Suffer, John.
We have one of our very best friends. Jess is here with us,
Hi, guys.
and then we have Al back.
Heyo.
Yeah. So again, what we were talking about tonight is life after Earth is what I've called this. So it's going to be where do we go when Earth is either completely destroyed or is not inhabitable anymore. There's plenty of movies and video games and stuff that cover this topic. So, but we'll get to that later on.
Hey, Justin, I'm going to set up a joke here. Can you get that usual soundbite ready for? We're going to answer your own question with my own soundbite.
Sure.
Justin, do you want to know where we go when the Earth dies?
Space.
Thank you.
There you go. Good job, John.
Yes.
That was a wonderful setup.
Hey, man, I
So
do what I
the-
can.
So I'm going to start from the bottom and then go to the top, kind of as far as like the ideas that I had for topics that we can cover on this. And I have a nice little sheet here of the things that I wanted to cover tonight. So the first thing that I want to start off with is kind of I hear it echo somewhere. So the first thing I want to start off with is the debate between leaving Earth or fixing it. So there's kind of a thing in kind of technology right now on if I believe there's a nice quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Tyson. I saw this earlier. I was going to send it to you guys. I think I did send it to you guys.
And he says, if we're developing the technology, basically, if we're developing the technology to terraform other Earths and make other places habitable for humans, why can't we do that here? So the debate is because we really can't split focus. I mean, it kind of, as far as technology is concerned, fixing Earth to the point that we are right now, or finding a way to get off of Earth, kind of takes full focus of technology. So should we focus on fixing the problems we already have and stay here, or should we be playing it safe and figuring out how to leave just in case that goes wrong? That's kind of like where I wanted to direct the first part of this episode.
I feel like we should be proactive with both at this point. We should have been trying to fix it a long time ago, but now that we've fucked ourselves in a corner, I think we should be trying to fit. Like, I don't think they need to be mutually exclusive. I think there's a way to be working on fixing it, but at the same time, working on hey, what if we fuck it up, which we probably will, because we fuck up most things that we try to do as people, humans.
Okay. So
Doesn't answer your question.
No, not really. So that's kind of the split focus thing. Like we should be trying to figure out both at the same time. But I mean, my thing is that we don't, as far as I've seen, like our technology either has to be pointed one way or another. Like we have to be working full focus on having some kind of escape plan, whether it be and again we'll get more into like the different options that we can have as a species. But whether we throw technology into figuring out how to get onto another Earth or colonize somewhere else, or whether we put that into trying to fix what we already broke. And a lot of scientists say that we're already past the point of no return as far as like Earth.
We're past the point. I mean, the doomsday clock is at like 3 seconds to midnight or something. But also, like, we're so far from even the like relatably maybe possibly will work part of like being able to go to another planet. So like, why not try to fix the boo-boo? But then again, we like the boo-boo, like we're the boo-boo is unfixable at this point.
Yeah, we're in a complicated spot.
The thing is, I don't think it's unfixable. I just don't think humans are willing to do what we need to do to fix it, which is essentially send ourselves back into the dark ages.
I'm going to have to agree. I feel like humanity in the IRL timeline we're sitting on is kind of at the fixed point where everyone's trying to get to space. I mean, we've got good old NASA and everything working on it. We've also got Elon kind of doing his own absolute psychopathic path up into the stars.
Everything that Elon Musk is doing is just reinventing the goddamn wheel.
Oh, it absolutely is. Don't get me wrong, but there are multiple people that see the value money-wise of sending everyone into space, and that's kind of where the world is turned because we spent too long in the industrial era, kind of, and we burned through resources so heavily that we're like she was saying, we're on 3 seconds to midnight on the doomsday clock, and we've kind of have to figure out how to get into space because no one really cares about fixing the planet enough to put funding towards it.
The important people don't care about fixing the planet enough.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Not enough important people care.
Yeah.
There's only a handful that actually care, Elon being like the top person that cares.
Yeah, and also Elon spends half his time like boofing DMT and talking to Joe Rogan, so he's not trying that hard.
No.
I mean,
So and that goes to show you where we're actually at in terms of progress.
Right.
If our one of our best hopes is some dude that randomly just won a company and just boofs DMT for the fuck of it. So we IRL timeline, we're in a very dangerous spot.
Yeah. So one of the things that I found while doing some research is that Jeff Bezos also has a program that deals with this. It's called Blue Origin. So it's not just Elon. It's like every single
Now available through
person.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! I knew that $12 a month was gonna get me some.
That's your ticket to Mars or whatever planet we decide to go on after this.
A rocket made out of cardboard and bubble wrap.
Does not apply to Prime student.
Darn it!
Hey, if my Prime membership is going to save my life if this planet ever goes to hell, then I'll be glad that I've been paying for it as long as I have. Yeah, so it's just interesting that we have so many of the greatest minds trying to figure out getting off the planet. And I don't think as many trying to figure out how to fix the planet that we're already on. But again, it's the conversation of whether we're really past the point of no return. And a lot of scientists believe that we are. So maybe figuring out how to get off and do something else is a better idea. But one of the solutions as we move into the other planets, because like Val said, the nearest planet to us that is Earth-like enough for us to just land and be safe to start colonizing there is light years away. I don't have that specific.
I don't know which one it is.
Isn't it Mars?
No.
No, they're saying like the Goldilocks zone. So like has water, is close enough to its sun to be habitable temperatures for us, has an atmosphere, or maybe has an atmosphere. It's just like the closest planet that we would be able to thrive on without like or whatever. I forget where it is.
I just grabbed it really quick. The closest one is Proxima B, and it's 4.2 light years away.
I thought it was something like 4.
Very fucking far. So
yeah.
Isn't that one also on the Cobb though?
I don't know. I just grabbed how far away it is. It's a pretty cool like name for a planet too. Like I live on Proxima B. That sounds like a video game, space colonization video game kind of thing. But yeah, it's the closest proximization to a planet that can take us right now.
So here's the thing though. It's okay. So for people who don't know space at all, there's 6 trillion miles in a light year. So we're looking at over 24 trillion miles to get to this place, which means that, we'd, I mean, let me see if I can do the math. I think it would, I did it before and I think it was like over 100,000 years to get there. So we would have to find a way to go into hypersleep.
Right. So the freezing comes
Freeze
into,
us.
yeah, and there are companies, there are scientists that are working.
Well, we haven't even figured out how to fucking to like bring back cryogenically frozen people yet.
Yeah.
We're so far away from that like it sounds, when people talk about like, oh, in order to like reverse the planet and like fix carbon emissions and the global warming stopped in its tracks, we'd have to like go into like a dark ages where we don't use electricity and we don't use any but like that's more plausible than fucking randomly happening upon a way to put ourselves into hypersleep. At least that's like that's a thing that we've done before. We've thrived as a human, well, maybe not thrived, but we've existed as a human race without things like electricity and plastics and all of the things that are fossil fuels and all of the things that are like contributing to these terrible things that we're doing to the planet. Nobody's ever been put in a hypersleep. We've never tried to do that.
Right.
Although
Maybe cryo. We have done cryo freezing though.
No, we've done half of cryo freezing.
Just Walt Disney's head.
Yeah, we
We've
have
frozen
the Star Wars where we can freeze Han Solo in carbonite, but we cannot bring him back to temperature and alive.
I was thinking more Walt Disney and being hidden under Disneyland, but yeah.
Yeah, fucking Ted Williams' head or whatever.
Cola, but hey, what do I know?
Isn't Ted Williams' head frozen? Or
Walt Disney's head is frozen.
So it must be all. So it's all of Ted Williams.
Same with John Wayne, as far as I know.
There's a lot of celebrities that have chosen to do that.
That's half of the technology. That's the stupid part.
Well, people freeze themselves. A lot of people freeze themselves. The people that have the money to do that and want to do that, people freeze themselves with the expectation that we don't have the ability to unfreeze them right now. And the whole point is to freeze yourself with the at least hope that at some point in the future. But then you got to think about the fact that you're freezing yourself. And is it there somewhere in the contract that if we leave Earth, we have to take you with us?
Yeah, imagine fucking waking up.
Those contracts are actually really interesting as far as like the weird shit that could be in them. For instance, if the company goes bankrupt, you're technically a asset of the company.
So you can get sold.
You can get sold. Yeah, your body just gets.
Are you
sold.
telling me there is a possibility I can get like someone as ridiculous as Walt Disney's brain as long as I buy out Disney? Because this sounds like a good idea.
But
not a possible one, but a good idea.
Disney would have to go under, and the likelihood of that happening.
There's always a possibility.
Yes,
not a very big one.
Yeah, the possibility is never zero.
Never zero.
Right. So the two, as far as the other Earths are concerned, the two options that we have here are, like we were talking about, the really far away planet, or the other option, and something scientists are also looking into, is the ability to terraform, the ability to take a planet that currently cannot, have life on it and give it life. And the planet, the plan at least for the planet like that, with Elon Musk and most people that are working on terraforming is Mars, is because Mars is the closest thing that we have that we can not only get to, but that we can also possibly turn into something that we can live on.
So here's my biggest problem with Mars, and I don't understand why people don't talk about it more, is that water boils at 0 degrees Celsius on Mars.
Other way around. Water freezes at 0 Celsius.
No. Water freezes on Earth at 0 Celsius.
Oh, right. There's no atmosphere yet.
The boiling point of water on Mars is so low. And I don't know the science if it has something to do with either the gravity or the atmosphere. I don't know what it is. But water boils on Mars, on the surface of Mars, at 0 degrees Celsius. So we are 70-something% water. If we were to exist on the surface of Mars, our bodies would cook. We would literally cook. Our bodies would cook.
Right.
You would have to find a way to
Jerky.
offset the fact that we would just become little kebabs. So like that's my biggest problem is like how are we first, if we do make it there, how are the first people that exist on Mars going to immediately engage the technology that's going to offset the fact that their bodies will cook?
So Val, so there's two things there. So there's two different options there. And I saw this being applied to either a terraforming thing. And the first one, it's either non-human or human terraforming. And the first one, the non-human terraforming, is basically what they would do is like what's the robots that go all over Mars. Basically what
the
they
rovers?
would do.
I swear to God.
Yeah, the rovers.
Goddamn Boston Dynamics robot dog.
I was just about to say, like the ones that we should just get a bunch of those dogs that John loves from Boston Dynamics and have them fix it.
This is exactly the scenario that caused my fear. Do you not remember the movie with Carrie Ann Moss and those 3 other guys whose names I don't remember called Red Fucking Planet?
No.
It was called Red Fucking Planet?
Well, no, it was Red Planet. But the premise of the film was they sent these astronauts out to space to like land on Mars and like be the first men on Mars. And what they did was they had an algae bloom, which caused some atmosphere to happen, so that when they finally ran out of air in their tanks, they took their helmets off and they're not dead. One of their Mars rover dogs goes berserk and like starts to hunt and beat the fuck out of them. I have been terrified of these dog robots ever since like 2003. You don't understand. This is a well-ingrained fear that I have.
Well, yeah, you've made it very clear.
And now you have my origin story.
Right.
No, Jess, we keep on sending him these Boston Dynamics, and whenever they make some kind of upgrade to the robot, and my favorite one that I just sent him, is, the military is currently working on a robot that can fuel itself with human remains and organic remains.
Yeah.
Oh.
Feed it, people. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take John hostage, and I'm speaking on behalf of AI, and so we're going to take John hostage, and we're going to cut off a limb, but not to the point where he dies, and we're going to feed it to him, and then we've got an infinite. We'll just give him like a toe. We'll give him a little toe, one of John's toes, and then we'll have him, watch over John for a while. And then when he goes, John, I'm hungry. John, I need another toe. Then we'll give him another toe.
Feed
Slowly.
me, Seymour. Feed me.
Yeah. Or just like, you don't need all your toes and fingers to survive. The only fingers
I need
you
exactly
actually
one toe on each foot.
Yeah, we'll just keep your big toes. You just need these fingers, right? That's
I
kind
need
of
these fingers.
Couldn't you
Well-
use your waste, your human waste, and feed it? Because it just says human waste.
Well, that's
No,
the thing. Okay, what about hair? Steve, if you start talking about Borderlands, I'm gonna get so mad. What about hair? What about hair? Could you feed it hair? Does that count as like human remains?
I
I
don't
was
think that they
thinking, like,
specify.
It's not specifically
Poop or
made to
something.
do human remains. It's made to do organic matter.
Yeah, it's
which is
organic
right
matter.
now like leaves and trees and such. So it just eats trees as it's
All right, well
growing.
then it will do hair. So you just feed it your pubes like once a month and it'll be fine.
Sweetie, laser.
Oh my god.
Anyway, now that we've gotten off track.
Right.
Well-
So the non-human terraforming.
Everything says non. I think he says non-human. So I'm just picturing nuns walking around in inhospitable planets like, Oh, I sure do wish Jesus and the Lord and my other savior Allah or whoever the fuck would like put an atmosphere down here and make it rain, bitches.
Wait, hold on. This is the one that you like, right?
Right. So,
Right?
Yeah.
God, I hate you. I don't like seeing you.
That's the one that can like open
Bless the robot dog.
doors, and if you like drop kick it. I know it's cute. I want one.
You stay the
cute.
fuck away from me with
They're
that.
cute and they're
I
they're
like
getting
seeing
way
them
smaller.
dance. They
I
dance,
know. They have a person too.
too. A person, like a little person.
See,
They're
this
like
one
the-
scares me. This one scares me more. This one scares me more. That makes me less happy.
Now that we're in an audio medium trying to talk about pictures and Val's just going, this one
It's
is
okay. Well,
it's not.
first of all, like we say in every single episode, watch us on YouTube because it's much better that way.
Yes, but Val, we still don't see what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's
you're not
the
even
Boston Dynamics. It's the Boston Dynamics dog, the little yellow dog. Google
Spot.
Boston Dynamics dog. Spot.
Those
Spot.
dogs are definitely going to turn into Skynet, and no one can convince me otherwise.
Does it have a name?
Never taught us this.
Spot. Yeah, it's Spot.
That's a
Spot.
Target's
It's Spot.
name.
Its name is Spot.
Stole
what's
it from
the
Target.
Person named.
What?
The person is named something.
Food.
Oh, I don't know
probably.
what the person's
We've learned
name.
that they're going to eat us.
They're not gonna eat you. They're just gonna like pull on your toe. Just give them your toenail
Talking
clipping.
about how you're going to feed them of me little by little.
Just
Y'all
your
are
like
dicks.
toenail clippings and hair.
What was the original subject question? Was
Human
I
versus
have no idea.
and terraforming.
okay. So when
Okay.
it comes to terraforming Mars, the non-human is basically sending up satellites, setting up robots that would land on Mars and start performing the terraforming, start performing whatever needs to be done to start creating the atmosphere and terraforming. And then
Yeah.
once it's to a safe level, then humans would go. It would just be completely robot at first. The second one is the I think I used a picture that was kind of like what I'm trying to talk about with our post on Instagram and Facebook. But the Mars colonization would be like domes. It would be like these like special things, like special areas where humans could live that had atmosphere built in. So it would be like oxygen that would be built in, that would be either self-contained or found somewhere else. And that would be how they would do it. Here, this is what I'm talking about. Again, visual medium. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about.
It's a bunch of Truman bubbles.
Yes.
from surviving Mars. It's a good game.
Yeah, and then the one
The
of the
Simpsons
points.
predicted it again.
I was
They
gonna
did.
say.
Did it.
One of the points of that would be that whoever's in that bubble, like one of their jobs would be to terraform, to make the rest of the planet makes the rest of the planet habitable for other humans. So that those would be the two different types of terraforming. I mean, the human terraforming has its benefits because they would have scientists there because, I mean, creating an atmosphere is very specific. So having robots that are thousands of miles away trying to do it without any kind of hands-on human, touch is very hard. So the human aspect of having humans there inside of some kind of survivable city model or something that is then terraforming, they would be able to make adjustments and be able to robots would probably still be involved, but the humans would be there to have that hands-on kind of like touch to fix things that go wrong and that kind of stuff. So
you could go halfway and go with what's going on with the movie Moon and just have like 1,000 what's his name? Not Army Hammer. Oh man.
Ooh. Did you guys
You're
hear
thinking-
about Army Hammer?
you're
Yeah.
thinking of his character from Iron Man, Ryan, when you call him Hammer.
I love his real life character where he wants to eat people.
Yeah.
You mean Sam Rockwell? Ooh.
Yes,
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah,
Yes.
1,000 Sam Rockwells. You send them all to the moon. You don't tell them that
Which-
they're clones.
Spoiler alert
them
for
up.
anyone that's never seen Moon.
Oh, the movie's old enough that who cares? I feel
I only just
I
watched
feel
it.
like you've got 5 solid years. You've got 5 years after a movie comes out that if you haven't seen it, fuck you.
Yeah, and Moon's been out for 11 years. So
Yeah. There you
Not
go.
if you,
Yeah.
not if you haven't seen it, then whatever. No, if you haven't seen this movie, fuck you.
Yeah.
Listen,
Uh-huh.
Val tells it like
but yeah, you can send clones. Just make some clones, send them to Mars, tell them to make us a good place to live, and when we get there, we'll dispose of them. It'll be fine.
that technology.
Feed them to the robots.
There you go. Feed them to the robot.
I still hate
Ooh.
that. I don't like that at all.
Isn't there a Tom Cruise movie where he finds out that he's a clone?
Yes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
mean the-
Oblivion.
Yeah,
Oblivion,
that
that's
movie
right.
was good.
It was a
Yeah.
good movie.
Again,
I
spoiler
don't
alert,
like
but he
Tom
finds out
Cruise.
he's a clone.
There's like the same clone of the woman too, right?
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, that's the whole point. Is that they're there? Like, I think again, it's the opposite. It's not terraforming another planet. I think it's all the other humans have left Earth and they're left
Yeah.
behind on Earth.
Man,
Yeah,
guys,
it's like there's
next
like-
you're gonna tell them that all the stormtroopers are clone troopers.
I
Fucking
know,
dicks.
no, Al, we've already established in episodes 7, 8, and 9 that they did away with clones after there's some bullshit to it. They're no longer clones. That's why we have FN, whatever the fuck his number
Finn.
is.
Finn.
And then we have TR8R, which is my personal favorite.
Is he the guy that literally whoops his ass?
Raider!
Raider, yeah.
Another not space related and a little off topic, but another movie where they find out they're clones is The Island. That's a really fucked up movie, but yeah, I recommend that if no one's ever seen that one. It's a
Anyway.
B. It has Obi-Wan Kenobi in it.
Oh,
what the
you
hell-
sold me.
Ewan McGregor.
Yes, Ewan McGregor is in there,
I
and
gotcha.
yes, it's one of those B type movies, and yeah, it's pretty good. It doesn't completely ruin it that you find out that they're clones. Oh, and Sean Bean's in it, so you know he dies.
Oh.
Oh, man, spoilers.
God damn it.
It really is a spoiler, guys.
Even in video games, he always dies. His
That
character
man
always
does
dies in
one
video
job
games.
and he does it spectacularly and it's just
That's
dying.
You know who
He's
else does
nothing.
one job
He's
really-
nothing if he. What?
Liam Neeson does one job really well, except in the one movie where he doesn't do his one job really well, which is Gangs of New York, where he fucking dies, thanks to Daniel Day goddamn Lewis.
Very true.
I was gonna say, Sean Bean. He's nothing if not consistent.
Typecast.
Scarlett Johansson. That's there's Ewan McGregor or whatever the hell you say, and Scarlett Johansson are both in that movie.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's pretty good. It's called The Island. So check it out. Yeah. So terraforming is one option, for Mars. I think Mars would be the best option. We really don't have another planet in the solar system where terraforming would be something we can really do, because either they're made of gas or they're current closest or how far away they are from the sun is just not viable for us to be able to
Or
do
there being
much.
like liquid mercury and all that sort of shit. Just-
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
It's
Mars
all
would
of
be
that.
the best option, and there is evidence that Mars had life on it at one point anyway. So
Still
I mean,
probably does.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you know what? The former life there is what got shipped over to us, which killed the dinosaurs.
Oh my
Lizard
god!
people.
Thanks,
That's what was
Noah.
You're talking about Doctor Who stuff here, John. Doctor Who covered this in multiple different episodes about like life on Mars. There was one actually where they were colonizing Mars. They were in a colony on Mars and they found life, and it was like a zombie virus basically. It like took over people's bodies.
Wasn't that also like it doesn't matter because we're not in the Doctor Who trio, but there was also they had like a time problem there too, where they found like a future Amy.
Timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey.
Not in the Mars episode. No, the Mars episode he was interfering with an event, a fixed point in time, and he was basically saying like he was the master of time, so he can change this. And in the end, you find out that no, he can't change it, and what happens anyway. So, yeah. Yeah,
So
that was-
anyway, what's
I
our
just know about the
option
David Bowie song.
here?
Yeah, so terraforming Mars, the different options for that. And my question for this is, if you had the chance and they asked you, would you go to a colony on Mars? Or, well, there's two different questions. The first one we'll do is, would you go to a colony on Mars? Let's say that you can take your stuff with you can take your family with you. Would you be one of the first colonists on Mars to help terraform Mars? Would that be something that you would be interested in? Would that be something you would do?
No, I'm good.
No.
Why not? Let's
Maybe
let's
second,
add
but
to
not
those no's
first.
a little bit.
Oh.
Let's add to those no's. Why?
Danny DeVito no the whole time. Nope.
Let them figure out the kinks first, and then I'll go on.
They like being tied up. That's at least I think.
No, not those kinks, Riff.
Oh, hold on.
Wonderful
Like, make
joke.
sure everything works well, and then like the COVID vaccine. Let everyone do it first, and then I'll do it.
Yes, you know what they say in the X-Men films? In chess, the pawns go first.
Ugh.
Good reference, John.
Thanks, Magneto.
I mean, I would go. I think it would be fun. I'll be the. I don't have any skills to contribute necessarily, but I'll go.
Well, let's say let's say that it's the terraforming is just something really easy. They can do, like, you're just there to push a button. Let's say that, like, they just want you
I
there
mean,
to push a
I
button
believe-
5 hours a
I
day.
believe
And,
at this point, the plan right now is to basically, if we were ready to colonize Mars today, they would shoot off and send the robots first, and then as soon as the robots got there, then the humans would start leaving, because by the time the humans leave, by the time we get there, it'll be pretty much mostly set up, except for human needed shit. So you
Yeah.
get there
right, but
and-
those aren't robots. The robots they're talking about aren't robots to terraform. Those are the robots that they send with the equipment, and the robots are there to set up the colony. They're there to set up the housing, that kind of stuff.
yeah.
My answer to this question would probably be no, and my no would only be based off of the what's it called movie where he gets stuck on Mars. Like, that's where my no would be based off of.
Amen.
Yeah, Matt Damon. Yeah. So I just, that movie has always freaked me out about space travel, and it's always
What about
made
the
me very
moon?
wary.
The moon is closer.
Yeah, but
The moon technically can't be terraformed, but it could be lived on technically with certain systems.
Well, yeah, that's okay. So that was that was something I was going to go into. So my first half of this was about actual places we could turn into Earth. So that was where I was going with it first. So the second question I have under here is, if you knew Earth was dying, and they had some way, they said that they had some way to unfreeze people, would you allow them to freeze you to send you to another Earth, knowing that you would wake up hundreds, if not thousands of years later somewhere else?
Sure.
I'm gonna go with no, because all I can think about is Outer Worlds.
I'd do it.
All I can think about is just getting
I
screwed
think
over
you're
like
gonna,
that.
here's the thing, you're either gonna fucking die on the planet, you're gonna die here, or you're probably gonna die in hypersleep, or you'll wake up and it'll be later and you'll have to just adjust to that.
Or you
I'd be
sleep
cool
the whole
with
thing and find out that Michael Fassbender was actually an asshole doing scientific experiments on you with alien embryos this whole time.
That's
Hey,
fine.
then I have a cool alien baby.
Yeah.
like,
Who knows?
I mean,
God, I might
waking up cryogenically frozen and becoming a criminal because someone else decided to wake me up, or some other, because you know how those kinds of contracts work. There's always some sort of dumb loophole that some big company uses to fuck over someone else. So
Yeah,
all I can think of is just suddenly I wake up out of cryo freeze and I am some like high level wanted criminal because I'm one of the last humans alive. No cryo sleep
You
for
get
me.
threatened when you talk about it too. You're like, I just woke up on this ship, and they're like, no, that's a myth. What do you mean?
Wake up in Star
What do you
Wars
mean I'm a myth? I'm standing in front of you. No, someone's gonna shoot and kill me the second I come out as like special in any way, shape, or I'm one of the last humans from Earth. Bap, 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 bap.
Okay.
What about a colony?
Porn.
So
What about
okay, so
colony
that was my next thing was space colonies. So there's like the three different types of colonies. There's the free floating, like let's say Deep Space Nine kind
You
of
want
like space
Gundams?
station.
This is how we get Gundams. And actually,
Fuck yeah, I want Gundams.
yeah, I'm for it. Let's fucking do that.
So there's the free floating ones. There's space colonies that are specifically set up to like orbit Earth, kind of like the International Space Station, but like on
Yeah,
a more
like the 100.
grand scale.
That's how that worked out.
Or there's ones that are set up on asteroids or moons. So like Ryan was saying, like we have the moon. The moon isn't something that we would probably be able to terraform, but we could set up some kind of moon-based station that people could live on.
See, the moon seems a little bit more stable to me than a floating station because I don't know. It just seems like a floating station is more likely to run into space junk of some kind. You
Or
know what I
get
mean?
pulled into a planet's
And we-
gravitational pull.
We
Yeah,
have a
it's
lot of
like a
space
moon.
junk in our atmosphere. Nothing for nothing.
Yeah, the moon is already on a fixed or relatively fixed path of rotation. And it just seems like I don't know, it just seems like I don't know. I feel like every time I've ever seen like a spaceship that's just hurtling through space, there's just shenanigans that happen. Or like
That's a
they're-
good
but,
point.
No
but,
new
like,
religions,
you know,
no demons, please. No
are you talking
no
about
worshiping
Event Horizon?
stones. No, I'm talking about
Doom?
both unanimously Dead Space and Doom.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
not worship the rock that came out of the
Don't-
planet.
Don't worship the rock that came out of the planet, and let's leave the weird alien, unspeakable evil glyphs in the inside of Mars. Don't touch them.
But
Don't
we can
commune
worship
with
the
them.
rock, though, right? That's a thing that we can still do. Like the rock is,
Yeah, I
okay,
think if we-
you know, in that cinematic masterpiece known as Doom, the movie.
Yeah.
Which
Ryan,
one? There's
so hard
two.
to defend.
There are two Dooms. That's the worst part.
Doom 2, Electric Boogaloo.
And honestly, neither Doom is good. Not at all.
But I mean, we hit the free floating space station thing, which kind of it will take a lot of resources up front. We hit the moon option. You know why the asteroid option is also terrible?
Why?
Because like, where's it going?
Well, that, but also like, let's say, I don't know. I'm gonna just again use Michael Fassbender because what's he gonna do? Sue us at this point?
He's watching right now. His lawyers
I
are
mean,
messaging
Michael
you.
Fassbender, I know a guy. But like, let's say he just decides to go full megalomaniac, and you're just like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna attach a giant fucking rocket onto that asteroid and shoot it into a sun. Like, that sucks.
I mean, you could plan out the movement of a celestial body, such as an asteroid, pretty easily.
Yeah, and then you
It's
put
not-
a giant rocket on it, and then Padme dies.
Ugh.
You could technically, you could, instead of using a ship as a colony to shoot us to another planet, we could find a asteroid, adjust the course till it's going to that planet, and just go on the asteroid. It's already built. You just keep building inside of it while you're driving. It's a whole
Well, I
thing.
mean, the only problem with the asteroid is asteroids don't really stop moving. So
Well, yeah, you just jump off at the last minute.
Same.
Stealth through space.
Yeah.
Jump off onto what?
You'll just end up
Onto
like
the
Bender.
planet.
Space?
Yeah.
Just jump off into
Roll.
space. There's a 50-50 shot some miraculous miracle saves you, or you just float to death.
I believe. No, wait. There's an actual statistic
It's a
for that.
win-win. Is there? Oh, I would love to hear that statistic, actually. But like, it's a win-win either way. Either you make it back by accident, or you die on purpose.
All right, Christian Bale.
Hey, man. I'll just break my spine a couple of times. It'll be fine.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh.
So So out of the three, if you were told that Earth is dying and you have to go to one of these colonies, is there one that you would prefer over the other ones?
What are our three options?
Free floating, orbiting, or on a asteroid or a moon.
I'm gonna go with orbiting. Orbiting for me. I think that'd be the safest spot. It reminds me of a lot of things.
So what I was thinking about actually was a quote from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy when they get forced out of the airlock. But with space being really big and all, the chances of being picked up within that time are 2 to the power of 2,079,460,347 to 1 against, which by staggering coincidence is also the telephone number of the Islington flat where Arthur went to a fancy dress party and met a very nice young woman who he totally blew it with. So yeah, there's that.
I'm not sure if that's something that he just made up.
I'm sure it's something he made up, but it's still awesome. It's still something. I've read the books way too many times and I know
Still
all
counts.
the things.
Yeah, so out of all the ones, I don't know if anybody knows one off the top of their head, but out of all of the companies and plans that I've found, most of them, if not all of them that I found, are kind of concentrating on that terraforming, kind of concentrating on the other Earth thing. I can't really find one. There's a lot of space tourism, which I found hilarious. But which is just companies that are like, we're developing the technology that you can go on spaceships and go check out stuff if you pay us enough money, kind of like the cruises in space kind of thing. But I can't really find any companies that are focused on like the colonization of either the moon or like an asteroid or some kind of like floating station. Maybe just because the money, like you just gotta just imagine how much it would cost to make like a space station of enough size that people can live on it comfortably.
Well,
kind of like
that goes back to the earlier question of what do we focus on? Do we focus on terraforming or do we focus on fixing the Earth? Because theoretically, you can't do both. You're right. You have to focus on one or the other.
There's also the third option of not really terraforming, but just building colonies, like space colonies, like how Gundam did it.
The problem with that is we hit the same issue, which is we know we have finite supply. We only have so much iron, coal, steel, yada yada yada. If we do the terraform route or orbital mining route, whatever, we at least buy ourselves some time to possibly fix the Earth and go back. So it's like you kind of have to look forward to then go backward.
Right, and we kind of want to stay close enough because yes, we're fucking up to the Earth to the point that we can't stay on it. But there's a lot of evidence showing that as soon as humans are not on it anymore, that it's going to heal itself eventually and go back to a point where maybe we'd be able to come back onto it. So maybe the colonization thing instead of the terraforming is a better idea, just because it would be something that we can do for now until the point that Earth is healed enough. Because like Val said, there's also the option of just stop doing things and let Earth like go back to where it's supposed to be.
Well, not even like just like we would have to make such a drastic change that like there would be it's not possible. There's no way we can't even get people to wear a piece of cloth over their face in public. There's no way that we're gonna get, well, at least in America, there's no way that we're gonna get the entire planet to be like, okay, well, we're slowly moving back to only having candles and fires and wood stoves, and we're slowly going back to, we're only riding our bicycle and maybe only public transportation instead of you having your own car. No, It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
Yeah. Stop driving your cars. Stop doing this. Stop using. Yeah, it's
not even. It's like stop using a refrigerator. Start salting your meat instead, and like. But that's how drastic it would have to be.
You also have to look at that. Then we'd also have to go backwards on a lot of medical procedures.
Yeah, like stop.
That we're gonna drop life expectancy by another 20 years back down to like 60 being a long life.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
I'll finally have goddamn health insurance at the end of all this.
But honestly,
I won't.
Which
But
again,
honestly,
it goes.
the fact that the life expectancy would go down would take off the burden of population on the planet as well.
Right. This
Oh,
goes
totally
back
would.
to this goes back to at one point, I don't even remember how many trios ago it was, but we talked about overpopulation as a thing. Like we talked about
That was
overpopulation
like 2
and
years ago, and I know that because we're coming up on my 2-year anniversary of when I got hired for that job that I was interviewing for when I missed that show.
well, I'm glad that you know it off the top of your head, John. But
My old boss back at that wonderful restaurant, of which I'm not going to say out loud because he hasn't paid me for the last time I've said it, is always called me a rain man. I can remember random dates and like random bits of information from X amount of time prior.
That's nice.
yeah, so we talked about overpopulation and the fact that the population is a major issue, and you know, the over farming and stuff, and we just recently talked about over farming. We lose track of these trios, but what trio did we talk about over farming?
It was the last one, the life after man, because we brought up the McDonald's game thanks to Amy.
Right. Yes. So we were talking about and I mean, this is a good follow-up of that, even though it was like 2 trios ago. But you know, the over farming, the fact that we only have, like you said, finite resources and we're eventually going to run out of them. So unless humans stop using the excess more than we actually need, it's going to become an issue. So
Yeah. Hey, Jesse,
fun to think
you're
about.
about to have a really good giggle there. What's up?
I'm seeing all the new names I've been getting.
Oh, put Genjamin
Already
Button.
done.
It was already up there for a little bit.
Oh, dude, I'm so fucking out of it. I didn't even know that.
Fun times. Yeah, so
That's another fun reason why you should really join us every Tuesday night, round 8.
so I mean, I would love to live in a colony somewhere, just a very not mechanical, but a very just like colonized space. I don't know. There's something about it that, and then I also think about and we'll get into video games and stuff in a second, but there's so many video games and movies just showing like the dangers of things that we don't know about and the dangers of things that could be out in space that if we like float away from where we currently are and the things that we can encounter. I mean, just look at any kind of, I know it's very sci-fi, but any fucking Star Trek film, any Star Trek, like any of that shit, just the amount of things like I can only
super fucked up about Star Trek.
What?
So at least for the latter trio, the Chris Pine ones, every single movie was, we have the most advanced ship, and then the next thing you know, that most advanced ship gets blown out of the fucking water by the next most advanced thing. So it's like they had just built the Enterprise, and the Enterprise gets his shit kicked in. And then the next one, the one with Bumblebee Cumberbund, they had.
You mean Bandersnatch Bimbledoe?
And Secretary Enterprise gets the shit knocked out of it. And then in the third one, at the end of the second one, they're like, we're building the next most advanced Enterprise ever. It's going to be a fleet carrier for 7 goddamn years. Blown up 20 minutes into the film. Like, what the fuck is Starfleet doing to fuck up this badly?
I didn't know they made that many Star Trek movies.
Yeah, don't watch the third. The third was.
Here's the thing, though. Space
Fine, if you like
logic
Chris Pine doing like motocross tricks.
Yeah.
Oh man, imagine doing motocross on Mars. That'd be sick.
Ooh.
Ooh, ooh.
Boom, boom.
Okay.
Is this my new title?
That one's the best. All right, Jen, the Jess McFace.
Yeah.
So glad I've taken a picture of every single one of these for posterity's sake.
What about pasta?
Oh my God, Val, go to sleep.
I'm doing my best.
For anyone wondering why Val is so out of it, she got her COVID shot and now she's like dying.
Man,
Oh,
I'm so thankful though. Here's the thing. I'm so fucking thankful. I'm so fucking thankful. And it was so easy and everybody there made it so great. And everybody, whenever you can, get your COVID shot as soon as you can. I feel like a bag of smashed assholes, but it's totally worth it.
I want mine so badly.
Totally worth it.
Isn't that just a pound of ground beef then?
A hot dog. It's the 12 pack of hot dogs you get at the
Yeah, I was about to say
supermarket.
that's a pack of hot dogs. That's what hot dogs are made out of. I don't like
Won't
to think
stop
about
me from eating them.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm doing my best. Yeah, I'm doing my best. I'm here chilling, trying not to fall over.
You're trying. There's an attempt.
Oh.
Yes. So as far as the space colonizations, I would just be afraid about the things that we don't know about and the things that
Yeah,
you
but
would
the thing is,
encounter
you
in
don't
space.
know what you don't know. That's the scariest part about space is we don't know what we don't know.
And also
only-
like the really simple things like radiation. Like there's
Or
things
just
that
like
they
fucking
do.
air or food or like where does our shit go? Like we
Yeah.
can't. There's like
Starving
simple.
in space.
How about
or-
what's at the end of the black hole, though?
What did we say last week? It was never mind. I had a
Like,
thought. I had a thought.
For all we know, one of those babies could actually be the key to space travel.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like Interstellar.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's no way possible to measure what's in it. Like it
Minus
just
the
it crushes
fucking-
things to such a minuscule. Yeah, I'm not saying that right. But it just crushes
Minuscule.
things.
It's a very minuscule. It's a very small school.
we have no idea what ends up on the other side. So
It's an alternate universe.
Matthew McConaughey in his
Oh,
daughter's
no.
library. You know.
That's who I meant earlier, not Christian Bale.
Yes.
Oh my
That's
god.
We knew who you meant. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
I have no idea. I had no idea what he was talking about. I don't usually.
I don't know
what
who
he's
people are.
talking-
I don't remember what humans are outside of houses.
Okay, so so the next thing I wanted to get into was some video games and movies. And this was one of the more recent video games that I picked up. I don't have a PC that I can really play much on. So it came to the Switch kind of a while ago, but it was just on sale within the last couple months, and I grabbed The Outer Worlds. Al, I think you mentioned it earlier. But I grabbed The Outer Worlds and absolutely loved it. And John, I think John froze, but John is going to make fun of me, and he
No,
already has
John
made
has
fun
to
of me.
reboot.
Yeah,
Reboot.
because it's
The
Fallout
robots
in
got him.
space. I absolutely loved it, and it's Fallout in space. So, but yeah, that was one of my favorite video games I've ever played. It has to deal with like kind of like space exploration, space colonization, and it kind of like really fits in well to this topic because that's basically what the video game is about. But I really enjoyed it, and I need to go back through because I did kind of like the I played a lying, thieving, sarcastic asshole, but that still did the right thing. So I really want to go back through it and play the chaotic, kill everyone that you see person. So
I mean, the game is amazing, and it really does play on the fact and explain in 3 different alignment paths how good you can make the best of your situation, and also how terrible corporations can become. Literally enslaving every part of your lives.
yeah, and that's another concern, like because it's not like colonization of another planet or colonization in itself is going to be free. It's going to have to be paid for, and there's going to be have to be some kind of thing, even if like Elon must find some way to completely like pay for it himself. There's no way that colonization, even if they offer it for free, you're gonna have to become an employee of
Which
whatever.
they're never gonna offer it for free. They're
Right.
never
Oh, God, no.
it's going to be the richest.
You're still going to have to buy into employment on these kinds of places.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
Which
Elon
is-
Musk was already basically pitching Mars indentured servitude.
Yeah, but
He
here's the
literally
problem
was
with that.
saying, "Hey, you want to go to Mars? Well, maybe one day you could like go to Mars and then you could repay your ticket."
We've
doing
already
labor.
busted his plan, though.
But here's the problem with that is then we run into, if we look at general wealth disbursement on the planet, it's mostly old white men. And
I mean, we could send them up to space first, figure out all the
here's the thing,
problems with
it's
them.
mostly old white men. And here's what I worry about. I worry about if, say, a Mars colony actually works and takes off and thrives, then we're going to get into problems with eventual inbreeding. And so I don't think down the line, if it's something that will happen and be successful, they'll then have to do like genetic, maybe they'll pull from like 23andMe and they'll find like ideal genetic combinations for like health, and then they'll, maybe those people will be the be like, oh, you have ideal DNA, so you're going, and you're going to come up to this colony for free. You know what I mean? So like people, there's going to be, yes, the rich old white men will get to go there because they're rich, but like there's a need for diversity in the human race.
I
to
mean,
prevent, the hills
is it
have eyes.
necessarily a bad thing that the rich white men get off this planet first?
No, that's
You
fine.
know
Never.
they're not gonna be the
Never.
first ones colonizing. They're not the ones
No,
that go
they're
to war. Why would they be the ones that risk their life for this shit? If anything, they're gonna
Because
freeze
then they get to
themselves.
be like my family was the first on Mars.
Nah,
I have the
they'll-
most wealth. The
They'll still
spice
send someone to
shall
test up
flow.
first, Riv.
Well, no,
Right, but I'm
if you follow most of the sci-fi that deals with colonization and stuff like that, it usually goes to stand that prisoners go first. And usually it's prisoners, especially like death row inmate prisoners and stuff like that.
Australia.
go a lot.
Well, look at the colonization of different, like Anglo colonization of different indigenous parts of the world.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the pioneer group that wants to go see new things and try new things, but then the people underneath are the people that are like indentured servants, or like people who are poor and need a job,
Like
and
the
like
beginning of Australia.
willing to take that risk. And like the what in Australia?
It's the
beginning,
beginning of
I was-
Australia.
Yeah, that's how Australia was formed.
But
Yeah,
like,
that's why 19 Crimes is a wine brand.
Yeah.
so I mean,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, back when England was trying to figure out what to do with all of their prisoners, and they just said F it and literally put them on ships and shipped them over to Australia and told them, this is your life now.
Get
Makes
fucked.
so much
Go
more
fight the
sense.
birds.
Which is funny because it seems to me like the best people to deal with the clusterfuck animals that are on Australia is hardened criminals.
Yeah.
I feel like those would be the people that would be like, oh, there's a giant fucking tarantula on my window. All right.
The
Oh,
scariest
that's
thing
just
to
their
think
pet.
about is the fact that those people actually adapted. Like, they adapted to
Dude,
their
there's some
environment.
people who are fine with that. There's people who are fine with the things that go on in Australia in terms of animals.
You know what
I
else?
Yeah, I
don't
had
get
a
Normal to
buddy
have
who
a
spent a
toilet
year
spider.
there. He loved being in Australia. I could not understand it. He was
All
like,
right,
yeah,
so
man,
wait
you
a
just got to
minute.
keep
I
your
have a
door locked
question.
because of the kangaroos.
How
Like,
do we do
Kangaroos are just.
dude,
And
kangaroos?
don't lose a war to the emus.
yeah,
Kangaroos
that too. They lost a war to emus, man.
All right, but not for nothing. That's actually a fascinating story. When we do our history trio, I promise you I will talk about it.
Okay.
How do we talk about like how do we discuss what? Because there's no way to Adam to like not Adam and Eve. There's no way to Noah's Ark every fucking type of animal.
We can pick and choose
I don't
what
think you
animals we
do.
want.
But that's what I'm saying. What do we pick and choose? Do we pick and choose the ones that best serve us, and then just like take pictures of the other ones and be like, "Sorry, you didn't make it, bud," and leave them there?
So
I feel like animals that are like, chickens, cows, prime meat food, animals, and then like house cats and dogs.
Yeah, Noelle's coming with me.
Yeah, no one's gonna abandon their pets like dogs, lizards, cats, snails, crabs. It's all gonna
Can I bring
come.
my fish? Can I bring the fish?
No, Ryan,
People are
your
gonna
fish
bring
can
the
get
fish.
fucked. They can be trout or they can be nothing.
I don't think you could eat
My
Jack
fish
Watson.
would be more useful than your dog. All right.
Yeah, your
Well,
fish
here's the
can
thing:
feed a
crickets.
small child.
In terms of like usefulness for humans, crickets and locusts and bugs are the highest protein per for the lowest cost. So we would have to find a way to mass produce crickets as our source of protein.
When did we
That's
start
what we
talking
would
about
have
It'll
to
just
crickets
get
here?
mashed down into a shape we won't recognize as crickets. Is all.
They
I
make
actually,
crickets.
okay, no, this is so crazy. I just ordered some. They're called cricket bars or something, but they're usually power bars, but the protein in them is cricket, and they look like power bars. There's nothing crunchy in them, but it's cricket flour. So these protein bars made with cricket flour. And I got onto the subject of cricket because we're talking about animals. We have to talk about like which ones are going to be most productive for the goal of the human race thriving. Does that make sense? Did I break up?
Yeah. No, you're fine. Yeah, no, that makes sense. we would definitely have to if we colonize. We would definitely have to
Bless you.
get used to
Thank you.
You're
some
welcome.
different food options because we would not be able to eat the way that we do on Earth.
No, there'd be no fucking cheeseburgers.
Dippin' Dots for everyone.
Dude, Dippin' Dots is not fucking space. It doesn't make any sense.
Don't
What
they
hap-
have like frozen dried food for astronauts?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but then again, that's food that would have to be made here. Like if we're thinking about colonization, we would have to think about like food that we would be able to eat after the food that we pack or whatever the
thing
fuck
is,
you
there
want
would
to
be
call
no-
it.
We would be doing no processing because if you're talking about like minimal work.
I think she
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
cut out.
Minimal work. I mean, it makes sense. Minimal work, minimum prep.
Right.
You know, low effort food.
So like a
But-
jerky or something.
Yeah.
It can go bad eventually.
But
Well,
then
it's,
again,
it's simple. We toss them into the dry space of Mars. They turn into jerky. We consume. Easy
So-
process.
So
Right.
honestly, the as far as like fresh food in space, if we do a colony, we would have to change over to vegetarian. Like that's probably the easiest way because like
Yeah.
growing veggies and stuff, there's very easy ways to do that, to do like hydroponics and stuff like that.
And the carbon emissions of being omnivorous are gonna offset whatever the fuck we're doing.
Right. I mean, I'm a meat eater. I am not a vegetarian by any standard. But there are ways, and vegetarians survive perfectly fine. There are ways to get the things that we get out of meat in other ways, like vitamins.
Someone told me
like
rice and beans has all of the markers of the things that you need from food. Like it's a perfect food between like all of the proteins and amino acids and carbs, and something about rice and beans is like the closest thing to like a perfect meal that you can get in terms of what you
all of our Latin fans are just cheering right now, Val.
Oh,
Thank you.
dude! The Brazilians are so pumped. I'm so excited. Can I come to Brazil? If we ever get really big, can we do an episode in Brazil?
Sure.
Okay, I'll wear
just on the beach.
Yes, we will all have to wear thong bikinis or else.
Way ahead of you.
Steve,
I was
Our
about to say, I'm pretty
Borderlands-
sure Riv is already there.
our Borderlands
Right
expert,
now.
a game that is based in space and kind of deals with space colonization. We haven't really heard from you today. So would you do space colony? Like what are your thoughts on this? You've just been sitting in that corner, just like staring down at us with
As
your
opposed
cockeyed
to
camera that
when?
you know that we hate.
I know.
Sharpening
But
his
Justin, he
weapon.
does it because he knows that nobody listening later on knows that.
No, I know, but now they do. He has a cockeyed camera.
He's a what?
There we go.
Is
That's
that
better,
better?
Steve. Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
This
All
is
right.
great.
Great audio.
You going to Mars or what?
I would not. I would not go to Mars. I would rather live in a spaceship for a while. But other than that, I just want to experience zero G. And I would just probably eat myself out anyway. So it's fine.
Phrasing.
Phrasing.
That is, what did you just say?
Val, you heard it correctly.
Yeet.
He said yeet. That's not what I heard.
No.
No, he said that he would eat himself out. That
But
is what he
also,
said.
if you could do that, would anyone want you in space? Because you wouldn't be doing anything else all day.
Is
Just
it like
floating
that-
around. Oh, there's Steve.
I feel like
Look,
this
there's
ties
Steve.
back to the
Floating
rich
around.
white billionaires we were talking
Floating
about
around
earlier.
looking like a giant Ouroboros.
It's like that story that we all heard in high school about how
Marilyn
Marilyn
Manson.
Monroe.
Marilyn
Talk about
Manson
him
could
anymore.
use
He's
to
fucking
Marilyn
remove. Oh my
Manson.
god, dude!
Yeah, Marilyn Manson
Oh.
removed 2 of his ribs so that he could blow.
Oh,
Suck his own dick.
Yeah.
What a hero!
God,
What a
that
guy.
man is such a fucking awful piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, all that stuff was awful.
is it that time? Wait, is it that time?
Well,
I think
it's almost that
what?
time because I have 2 questions left. Justin,
Yes.
we went through, as far as I can remember in my noodle, the bulk of your outline for tonight.
Yes.
Was there anything else that we haven't hit yet?
I mean, I was just the only thing I had left was talking about like some games and movies that have to deal with this, but it
Okay.
wasn't as important as some of the other topics that we kind of covered. So
My next
Like,
question was going to be, can we hit on that for a moment? Because I have quite a few things that I've been mulling over in my mind today.
yeah, go ahead. Take it.
So,
Go ahead, John.
as I've made reference to numerous times tonight of Star Wars or, things like that, you look at some of the planets on that, and it's like, do you really think that Tatooine would have been colonized?
No, but there was a reason why it was colonized, wasn't it? Wasn't it like a mining planet?
It ended up being like a good like trade hub lane, which is why the Hutts kept taking it over. But like you have other planets like Hoth, which is just all snow and negative degrees and blizzards nonstop. Like that's a planet you
But
couldn't pay
breathable.
me. What's that?
But breathable.
Yeah, you couldn't pay me enough money to get onto that planet.
No.
They're wearing parkas inside because it's so cold. There's there are certain planets that make sense, like Mustafar. They built like the mining rigs on. It's the lava planet for the folks at home who may not remember. That's where Obi-Wan Kenobi figured out that he had the high ground and beat the fuck out of Vader. Whoop. But like, in your guys' opinion, have you seen things like that where there's no tactical sense other than, oh, there's an atmosphere, let's put a colony on it?
John.
There's a lot of there's a lot of Star Wars that doesn't make sense as far as that, and I know it's more of like an old west kind of
Yeah.
feel for space exploration. It's not so much like an organized system. It's but Star Trek has that whole order of planets kind of thing, being able to classify. I forget how many letters there are. I think there's like 6. I'll have to look it up in a second.
Isn't it like S through F?
I think so, because
That's
class
where,
M
like-
is survivable by humans.
Oh yeah. It's like, yeah, class M is like what we're used to and bullshit like that. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
John,
Yeah.
John, Tatooine was a mining planet.
Oh, neat.
That's why it was so sparsely populated, was because they were mining, and then all of a sudden it got out to the other galaxies that there was like I think it's like selenite or silica, whatever, something important that they were
So-
mining for. I started.
Ice? Was it the
John.
John?
It's DHJKLMNRT and Y. I don't know why those letters specifically, but they all stand for some kind of planet. They're all a classification of planets.
Yeah.
So I always like that. I always liked that they were able to turn around and say, look at that planet. That planet is this letter, and that letter means something specific. Like a class N is a sulfuric planet. Like it has a sulfuric acid.
And so many like video games have taken that and run with it, like Mass Effect, where it may not use the same thing, but it's like, oh, this is a metallic planet. We can get iron here. Like, let's go build some new capital ships from this planet. Or this is a methane-based planet. We can fuel our ships now. Like,
and I mean, Riv, there's a huge game that a lot of people forget about because of it had such a garbage launch day, and that's No Man's Sky.
Yep.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky was huge, and you literally spent an eternity. They still haven't discovered like maybe 5% of the whole game. And people have been trying to explore the entirety of it since it dropped and then got its updates and improvements. But those planets are out there and they get classified into ranks. You can collect specific materials for them. There's these massive alien forces that you actually engage in by chance. Like if you really want to experience a proper simulation of the dangers and truths of space, I'm honestly going to say go give No Man's Sky a shot.
Have you played it recently?
Not recently. I'd say months back.
Okay.
So the problem with that, Al, is that a better crafting game came out that was smaller in scope called Astroneer, which, Ryan and I are super familiar with because one of our favorite YouTubers made a whole series about just breaking the game in funny ways.
Yep.
Let's game it out. I think we've recommended him before.
Oh, numerous times at this point.
Yeah.
I just saw he put a new Valheim video out today. So
oh, nice.
Like it's I get it. Like No Man's Sky was this brilliant plan, and I remember watching the hype for it and it got really excited, and then all of a sudden none of that was brought up. There's been another video called The Engoodening of No Man's Sky by the internet historian who has been talking about like its progress to where it is now. But for the most part, I mean, it's just a game that they picked it up, they got their money's maybe worth out of it, and then they dropped it because there was nothing keeping them in.
I mean, that's the sad truth of it is it's got a really long playtime and like you're just kind of stuck there. There's once you've figured out the game, that's the game. And there's, like I said, only 5% of it, maybe 10% the whole thing discovered. It is going to get monotonous and exhausting, but it is a really good representation of space.
Right.
I think I might like jump. I've been thinking about jumping back into it a little bit. I've been playing Everspace 2 recently, which is going to be my my recommendation tonight. There's also a few other Surviving Mars, which was actually what that screenshot that Justin put up. That's a really good game based on actually colonizing, because you have to balance everything as far as like getting oxygen and food and all that sort of shit to your colonies. But yeah, what's another?
For me, I'm also going to recommend Dead Space.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
That's
The whole
example of
series.
what-
Wait, hang on.
bad
Before we
things
go
will
further, hey
happen.
Justin, play that soundbite.
Okay. We want to go into recommendations. I'm fine with that.
We're already there basically. So let's hit that soundbite. Make it fun for everyone.
So Travis, who's not here tonight, what time is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is recommendation time.
I was so excited. I thought we were gonna see a Travis.
See you, Travis. You
Snacky,
mean
barely
a
legal,
snacky?
paralegal.
I know.
Aw.
I missed that little one.
Wait, Val, have we ever told you what his nickname for Logan, or with Logan's nickname for him is that we use?
What?
So he when he used to watch him on Tuesdays for me, Logan used to like fall asleep really easily on him. So we started calling him Uncle Pillow. and that's like his
Oh my
Aw.
god!
Uncle Body Pillow.
Oh, that hurts. That's so cute.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, little chalupa Batman.
Oh.
Chalupa Batman Supreme.
Chalupa
Nice.
Batman Supreme with extra guacamole.
So
Val,
so
would you like to go first so you can take a nap, hon?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Boo Boo.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So I am a witch. I don't know how else to say that. I practice a lot of witchy things. And I got a really great present from a friend, and it is called the Animal Spirit Deck and Guidebook. So I practice a lot of tarot, and this is not a tarot deck. Tarot, if you don't know, it is just a fun way to it's not like a fortune teller, but it's just it's a fun way to ask the universe questions and get some answers about things that are going on in your life. And I have over the years become pretty proficient at reading tarot. And so I got these oracle cards, and they came in this really amazing box that's super shiny and holographic. And then you open it up, and it's got the 4 elements on the back. It's really beautiful. And then you open this box, and there's a big magnet. They make a big show of this. This is really cool. And then
That's like a phone
Ooh.
case.
oh my god, I know it's like an iPhone, and it says may you always be on the inner quest, which I think is really cool. So it's by the company is called The Wild Unknown, and I know that they do a tarot deck too. But they have, it really is like an iPhone. So they have this amazing guidebook that goes along with their deck. So the actual deck itself is pretty cool. So there's different animals. If you can't see this, watch it on YouTube, you brat. But there's all different kinds of animals.
You just call our listeners a brat.
Yeah, stop it and watch us on.
Stop it.
Stop it and watch us. Look at my dumb face.
Is it similar
Okay,
to
so
tarot?
So it's similar to tarot in which, so what I usually like to do if I have an oracle deck, I have a couple of oracle decks, but what I like to do is, I'll draw 1 card a day. And for instance, I get a fox, and I'll journal a little bit. And this book, gives you all different explanations of each animal, and it's organized by element, and each animal is represented by an
And her audio cut out again.
Oh.
Rip.
Oh no.
Oh, and she's still going.
Yeah.
Still going.
Oh, no.
I don't think she can hear us either.
I don't think she can. Nah.
Oh no.
And none of us did that either. That's the worst part. Meanwhile, Noelle's over here just super relaxed, getting a belly massage.
Wait, what's happening?
Your
Oh,
audio
no.
cut out.
Your audio cut out.
Oh no. Okay, so where did you hear me?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Animal.
Okay, so you
Animal
pull it.
information in book.
Yeah, so you pull an animal,
Ow.
an animal card. You read the corresponding passage, and then you just go about your day. And then at the end of the day, you can reflect on how that animal may have influenced, or the characteristics of the animal may have influenced your day. Or sometimes I'll get a hawk, and then I'll be driving down the highway, and I'll see a hawk, and it'll remind me of the message that I had to. It's a really interesting way of keeping your spirit guides close to you, keeping the animal world and all of the things that it represents close to you. And it's super easy, but you can also do multi-card readings with them. So, but I usually, when I do a tarot spread, I'll usually also pull an oracle card for the person as an overarching message. So oracle cards are usually messages, and tarot cards, the reading is a little bit more complex. But yeah. These are good general message cards. So I just got this one, and it's just it's so pretty, and it's fancy and shiny, and I'm so excited to use it.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's called the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. So that's my recommendation.
So just a really quick thing. I was about to load the soundbite and I didn't, and I don't know why I didn't. And I just loaded it really quick, but this is one of our oldest soundbites. John, you'll recognize this one.
I don't remember. I didn't hear it at all.
That's Megan. That's your girlfriend back like when we were originally
It
our
just sounded
original
like a dog coughing from
She
the way it played through your speaker.
Wait, let me see.
There we go. Now I hear it. It does sound like a person sneezing. Now.
It was a soundbite that I picked
That
up like
sounds
from the
like it's
background
from-
of John's mic.
That was one of the very first podcasts I recorded via Discord with you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yikes.
Hey Jess, why don't you go next?
So
You
my
can totally talk
recommendation.
about yourself too.
My recommendation, because I've been channeling my inner weeb, I've been getting into more animes, and I started the Hunter x Hunter anime. It's been around since 2011, but now it's like because of TikTok, it's being all hyped up, and I was like, oh, I want to watch that, and it's really good. It's really goofy. It's on the level of like One Piece, but there's also like a lot of like can be some serious stuff into it, and it's about a little kid named Gon, who's like 12, who takes something called the Hunter's exam. And it's a really badass exam where a bunch of people like join it and they become hunters. And I'm in season 2, and it's just really good. It's really goofy. If you like a good goofy anime, I recommend it. That's it.
Wait. Does this seem familiar?
Ooh.
Oh my god! Killua!
John, did you say ooh woo?
I've been saying it all night. You're welcome.
Ooh,
Yes,
woo.
now let the people at home have a quick peek into your future. Are you working on a costume, perhaps?
I might be working on a Hisoka cosplay very soon. He is currently my anime crush. A lot of people say he's creepy, but it's okay. I embrace the creepiness.
Oh my gosh, Jess, your TikToks bring me so much joy.
Oh, thank you.
BT Dubs, please never laugh like a clown again. That's for the people
That
who
was
follow you on
Chucky.
TikTok. to know, and
Listen,
only the-
John, you know that I have a penny. John, you know that I have a Pennywise kink.
Yeah, vis-a-vis Michael Skarsgård or whatever his name is.
Skarsgård.
And Jess, where can people find you when you're not on this podcast?
So when I'm not on this podcast, you can find me over on my Instagram. It is the platform, the social media platform that I am most active on. It is at JESSCORR_. And then through my Instagram, you can find my TikTok, and you can even find my Twitch account.
You can also find her on our friends part of our website as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jess, what are you? This is gonna be hilarious in 3 weeks when we release this as an audio episode. What are you streaming this week for the people watching right now?
So currently, right now, I'm streaming Dark Souls 3. This is the farthest I've ever gotten into my Dark Souls 3 playthrough. And then towards the end of the week, I'll be live streaming some Skyrim.
Very nice, very nice. I like.
John, why don't you go?
Oh damn, I was not expecting this. I want to recommend my dog. Let me just go ahead and
Noelle.
go myself. Hey Noelle, come here.
Everyone should go get Noelle.
Everybody should come pet my
Everyone
dog.
get a
Where are you?
Noelle.
You're right here. Look how cute she is.
She is cute.
She's a little teddy bear, and I love her. Just go pet a dog. Everybody needs a dog. And if you don't have a dog, you can have a dog. Just adopt your neighbor's dog as like their cool auntie or uncle. Hey, Noelle.
Just find a dog and that's at a dog park that like they're
And
owner's
steal it.
not
Yes,
watching.
do that.
You
Steal
like,
it.
take it home.
Go to
We
jail.
do not
Yeah, take
condone
it
stealing
home.
pets. Let me just make
It's
a
not
note of that.
stealing. It's not stealing if you can't see the owner and think that it's lost.
You're borrowing it.
You're borrowing it until they get mad enough to find you.
And then
Please
turn
do
it
not
in for
use
the
this
reward.
anymore.
Wow.
We do not condone these actions.
We don't condone it, but we're also not able to stop you.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
telling
you're
you.
staying
I'm
here
not. I'm
forever.
allegedly telling you not to do it.
Oh,
We're gonna
and
get a fucking
on the
court
real
summons.
though, go on HBO, watch Ford versus Ferrari, and then also Jojo Rabbit. You will thank me later.
Jojo
I did a double feature the other
Rabbit.
night.
That movie's so good.
Honestly, quote of the movie is "fuck you, Hitler," and he kicks him out the goddamn window.
That is such an
I don't-
amazing movie.
Chef's kiss.
Al, why don't you go?
I've got two recommendations. Like I said before, I'm going to recommend the whole Dead Space trilogy. First off, for all of you space fans who want to see how terrible space can get, it's honestly one of the darkest timeline situations that you can really experience. And it's a psychological thriller that really is not only going to fuck up the character you're playing, but you as you play through these three games. It's honestly mind-blowing how terrified and how much it changed the horror genre for me. And then secondly, I am going to shout out Wizards of the Coast because I finally got my goddamn squirrel tokens.
Yeah,
And
buddy.
they're the most
Nice.
beautiful goddamn cards I have ever gotten.
Yeah,
cool.
buddy. I think you and Justin could have a fun thing with what Justin's doing right now.
What? Which thing?
Your
The
deck
deck
you're
that I'm
making,
or
but we'll talk about that after.
So Al, if you want, it's not up to the same quality. And Ryan watched me play it when we went up to go get Travis from school. But there's another game, and it just dropped on the Switch. And I think there's a PC version that has VR capability, but it's called The Persistence, and it's very close to like a Dead Space kind of thing. The bad guys, you know what? This will be my recommendation. The bad guys are basically you're on a spaceship. The spaceship gets hit with an electrical discharge, and it makes the cloning machine on the ship start like cloning these like zombified versions of like parts of the crew, and it has a lot of the same kind of like jump scare kind of things that Dead Space does, not in the really fucked up monster kind of way, but more of just like I don't know. It's really interesting. Like Ryan watched me play, and there's a lot of like parts. It's a very. It's also roguelite. So the ship rearranges itself every time you go back
Roguelikes
through.
are so good.
Yeah. So every time you die, you go back to the main area, and you can use these things called stem cells that you collect. And then every time you go back out, the ship has been rearranged, so the rooms are in like different places and stuff. So, yeah, but it's an interesting game. I'm not gonna say that I absolutely love it, but I don't hate it at all. It's a pretty interesting thing to play through. But like on the Switch, it's really weird because I think it was originally made as a VR game, so some of the controls are kind of clunky. So it's probably better as a PC or VR game than as a Switch game. So.
All right, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, The Persistence. It's not bad. Steve, and then we'll do Ryan, and then we'll be done.
Super Fight. It's actually a card game.
Is it any good? I've thought about getting it before.
It's very entertaining. I have the cards actually right here in front of me, and I'm gonna quickly make a person who's gonna beat you, just because it's a game about arguing, which I never thought I would be into.
Oh, dude,
But-
the whole company for them makes great games because they also made a game called Red Flags, which I own all of them.
Wait, Steve, keep going. I want to know what this person is going to fight me about.
All right,
I'll fight them back.
So I have a character who is an ultimate fighting champion. And then he has two things. He literally wearing his heart on his sleeves. And he also has a pet, which is 500 pounds, who is Men in Black. Just because cards say stupid, weird shit.
Wait,
he's a pet?
So
The
wait,
pet
did
is
you
in
have
there?
to decide whether or
Yeah.
not you could beat him in a fight?
So the whole goal is you grab 3 white cards and 3 black cards. The white cards are your characters, and the black cards are like what they can do and everything else. And you pick one card from your hand, you discard the rest for the white cards for your character, and then your abilities, you pick one of them and you discard the rest, and you argue with who's ever next in line, who is either going to be sorry, just had a can't even think.
Wait, so who's what? So who's gonna beat him, or who's gonna?
So you play
Dude,
with
Val,
someone.
you are fading quickly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She's not the only one.
Dude, I just feel like a pile of pudding.
So basically, you just have two people like draw 6 cards, choose 2 of them, and then add an extra random card to it to see who would win in a fight. And then you just argue for a certain amount of time till you find out who the winner is.
I feel like this would end in Riv and I fist fighting.
You're very
And then-
good debaters.
and
We are
then-
both master debaters. Val.
I'm a master debater. I will say that.
Hey Ryan, round us out, or did you already? I forgot.
No, he didn't.
Beat the
Well,
band.
Well, I'm gonna recommend Everspace 2. It's pretty much a mix between it's a mix between a looter shooter and a arcade space shooter. So you have your own ship and you have to do missions and stuff like that, like a normal looter shooter, where you're going around collecting items and adding to your inventory and trying to get the best things. But at the same time, it's in space, and it's also really beautifully made. Not too terrible as far as the needs of your computer for it, but it's a really well-made game.
Folks at home listening on Spotify, Ryan's bunny just bit him in the dick.
This is why you don't.
I
This
might
is why
think-
you
I might-
don't.
I might-
This is why you don't own an animal that can eat its own shit.
Hear that, Noel? You're smart enough not to do that.
Yeah, Everspace 2, it's technically still in early access, but what is made is a really good game so far.
very cool. Okay, so that wraps us up. Thank you for listening or watching us. If you want to listen to us again or catch up on any of our other episodes, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, and a handful of other podcast platforms. If you can't find us on your favorite podcast platform, please let us know so I can work on getting us there. Our tag you can use to find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and more is 3EP Podcast. Our website is 3eppodcast.com. Please come check it out. We live stream our episodes almost every Tuesday around 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, so follow us here, wherever you're listening. Please give us a like and most definitely comment so we know what you think about what we are doing. Let us know if you have any questions or suggestions or something you want to hear as a trio. If you want us to talk about something or if you have an interest, just let us know and we will make it a trio, an upcoming trio. If they are listening to us on SoundCloud or YouTube or any other platform that supports it, what do they do, Steve?
Like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Tell us what you think about our podcast. Give us suggestions. We would love to hear a suggestion because there's now following. And maybe our next topic will be what you suggested. How about that?
How about that?
Thanks for the summary of what I just said, Steve.
That's fine. I don't care.
Please-
I wanted to say it.
You know what though? He needs more lines per episode, so we gotta
Yeah.
boost the salary.
I agree.
somehow.
I will super fight you. All right.
Listen, we pay Steve per word, and it's only like $1 a word, so he's getting like $20 today.
We can afford it.
It's funny, we can't even afford to pay Steve.
Please also remember to check out our network and give us a shout at network where you can find our sister podcast as well as our t-shirts and other merchandise. Everyone say goodnight to the lovely people that are listening.
Good night.
Good
Wear your
night.
mask.
Bye.
Wear your damn masks. I missed.